Attention passionate New York Giants fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on New York Giants' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true New York Giants fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and New York Giants fans. Let's get to the news all right, folks. There's some serious buzz swirling around the NFC East right now, and it involves a potential blockbuster move that could reshape the division, and it's centered around the Giants and the Baltimore Ravens. The NFL rumor mill is heating up with whispers that Baltimore might be looking to deal linebacker Roquan Smith, and if it happens, it could be a game-changer for New York. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Why would the Ravens trade away one of their best defensive players? Well, the answer lies in a mix of cap space issues, team needs, and strategic rebuild plans. So let's dig into all the details because this story has a lot of layers, and it's one that Giants fans should definitely keep an eye on. First, let's set the scene. The Ravens are currently sitting at a 5-3 record, which isn't bad, but their run defense has been showing some cracks. They're giving up about 4 yards per carry, which isn't catastrophic, but it's enough to raise questions, especially given their aspirations to contend in the playoffs and make a deep run in the postseason. The defense, which used to be among the league's elite, has been showing some fatigue, and that's where Roquan Smith comes into play. Smith, a Georgia product and just 28 years old, has been a cornerstone of Baltimore's defense since they acquired him in a trade last year. He's an elite linebacker, known for sideline-to-sideline speed, exceptional tackling, and leadership on the field. Over his career, he's amassed over 200 tackles, 20 sacks, and has been a consistent force in stopping the run, with a career run-stuff percentage of around 12%. His PFF grade has hovered around the high 80s, which is outstanding for a linebacker. In 2025, Smith has been a tackling machine, with 98 total tackles, including 62 solo stops, along with 3 interceptions, and a PFF run defense grade of 87. He's also forced 4 fumbles, and his coverage has been solid with a PFF coverage grade of 84. 9. His performance in 2024 was just as impressive, 158 tackles, 5 sacks, and a PFF grade of nearly 88. 4. Yes, he's had some injury setbacks, like a shoulder injury in Week 6, but he's bounced back strongly, racking up 14 tackles in the Week 10 game versus the Bengals. Now, why would the Ravens consider trading him? Well, cap space is one of the main reasons. Baltimore is trying to free up around $12 million to help rebuild their offensive line, a unit that's allowing about 3-5 sacks per game, which is a problem for them. They're also looking at the long-term picture and are somewhat skeptical about extending Smith at a $20 million annual rate, mainly because of their cap constraints and roster priorities. Trading Smith would free up roughly $13 million in cap space, which could then be used to re-sign Patrick Queen or bolster the offensive line, both of which are critical for their success moving forward. Furthermore, the Ravens are possibly weighing whether they want to go all in on a Super Bowl shot this year or rebuild for the future. Given their current odds, which have shifted from +12-0 to +7-0, some believe they're not quite sold on a deep playoff run, especially with questions about their offensive consistency and health. For the Giants, the potential acquisition of Roquan Smith is a huge deal. Currently, their linebacker core has been exposed, with about 82 missed tackles this season, a number that highlights their struggles against the run and in coverage. Smith, with his explosiveness and leadership, could be the missing piece that transforms their defense from decent to dominant. He's a sideline-to-sideline linebacker who could anchor the middle of their defense, allowing the secondary to breathe and focus on coverage without constantly worrying about the run game. His ability to stop runs at the line of scrimmage and make plays in open space would be instrumental, especially with the Giants facing some tough opponents coming up. Let's talk about how Smith fits into the Giants' current defensive scheme. The Giants' defense has been a mixed bag this season, especially in the linebacker room. With players like Bobby Okereke and Micah McFadden, they've shown flashes of potential, but consistency has been an issue. Smith's arrival could elevate the entire unit. His leadership and experience could serve as a calming influence, especially for the younger linebackers who are still developing. Plus, his knack for forcing turnovers, with 4 forced fumbles in 2025 alone, could be a game-changer in tight contests. The Giants have struggled with turnovers on defense, and adding a player like Smith who can create chaos and make big plays could be exactly what they need to take that next step. Now, let's consider the strategic implications. If the Giants manage to land Smith, it's not just about upgrading their defense for this season. It's about setting a foundation for future success. The NFC East is a tough division, with the Eagles and Cowboys usually leading the charge. But if the Giants can bolster their defense with a proven playmaker like Smith, they could be poised to challenge those rivals more consistently. His presence would also take pressure off the secondary, allowing them to be more aggressive in coverage, which is crucial given the division's high-powered offenses. The potential trade would likely involve a second-round pick in 2026 and a sixth-round pick in 2027, according to some insiders. Baltimore is looking for draft capital to help rebuild their offensive line and address other roster needs, so they might see this as a fair price for a player of Smith's caliber. The Giants, on the other hand, would be getting a player who can immediately impact their winning chances, especially in critical games down the stretch. Of course, some skeptics in Baltimore might question whether trading Smith is the right move, especially given his talent and leadership. But the team's front office seems to be prioritizing cap flexibility and future draft assets, and that's a common theme for teams looking to reset or rebuild. The question is whether the Giants can capitalize on this opportunity and convince Baltimore to part ways with one of their most valuable defensive pieces. If they do, it could be a coup for Brian Daboll's squad, giving them a legit game-changer on defense that opponents will have to game plan around. Looking ahead, if the Giants do land Smith, it could have a ripple effect across the entire NFC East. The Cowboys, Eagles, and even the Commanders will have to prepare for a more formidable Giants defense. It could also shift the division standings, with New York becoming more competitive and perhaps even pushing toward the playoff picture more aggressively. For Smith, this move would be a chance to showcase his talents on a team with playoff ambitions, and for the Giants, it's about acquiring a player who can lead the defense for years to come. Now, I want to mention the bigger picture about the Giants this season. They're sitting at 3-5, and while that record isn't what they hoped for at the start of the year, there's still plenty of hope. The NFC East is always a battle, and with some key additions and improvements, the Giants can turn things around. Their offense has shown flashes of brilliance led by quarterback Daniel Jones, but consistency has been an issue. The defense, which has been a weak point, needs a spark, and a player like Roquan Smith could be just that. With his ability to make game-changing plays, set the tone, and lead by example, Smith could be the catalyst for a defensive turnaround that helps the Giants climb back into playoff contention. And let's not forget the importance of leadership. Smith has that in spades. His intensity, work ethic, and football IQ are well known across the league. Bringing him into the Giants' locker room would send a message to everyone about their commitment to winning. It's about building a defense that can be feared, that can carry the team when the offense hits rough patches, and that can close out games. Smith's presence could also help develop the younger players, creating a culture of accountability and excellence that has been a hallmark of the Giants' recent success under Daboll. Of course, nothing is set in stone yet. The trade talks are just swirling at this point, and Baltimore's front office will weigh their options carefully. But if the Giants are able to pull this off, it would be a massive statement, not just about their immediate playoff chances, but about their long-term vision for a competitive, tough, and resilient defense. So, Giants fans, keep your fingers crossed, because a move like this could be exactly what the doctor ordered. Roquan Smith has the talent, the experience, and the leadership to be a difference-maker, and if he joins the Giants, it could be the piece that helps them finally break through and start competing at a higher level again. The NFC East is always a dogfight, and every addition counts. Whether or not this trade happens, one thing is for sure: the Giants are in the mix and exciting times could be ahead. Stay tuned because the best is yet to come. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest New York Giants news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Now I want to hear from you, Giants fans. What's your take on this potential move? Do you think Roquan Smith would be the perfect fit for our defense, or are you skeptical about the Ravens trading him away? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion really matters, not just to us, but to the future of this team. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with even more updates, so stay tuned for the latest and greatest New York Giants news. We're in this together, and I'm excited to see what the next few weeks will bring. Let's keep the faith, keep the passion alive, and let's make some noise for our Giants. Because when it comes to football, we never give up, and we always believe in the comeback. Thanks for riding along, and I'll see you in the next update.